What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. I'm here with the Sultan of Sando, Mr. Gab. Looking very happy this weekend. Mukhang masaya ka, Gab, this weekend. Bakit kaya?
In theme tayo, Sam. Blue and yellow.
Blue and yellow. Represent. Obviously, masaya si Gab. I'm wearing my blue shirt. Ateneo getting their first winning streak of the season, winning their second straight game against UST. We'll talk about that game later. Let's talk about the other game first. Nasal
A
giving
snoozer.
Adamson the beat down again. It was very similar to the first round matchup, diba? I think no first round natalo Adamson by 30 points. So hindi naman 30 points to, pero more or less the same story.
25.
25.
Close enough.
Yeah, good improvement. 5 points. Gab, key takeaways from this game.
Naiinis ako sa sarcasm mo, pare.
Okay, guys, by the way, I'm asking Gab kasi after the first half, sabi ko, I can't watch this anymore. Wala na to, talo na to. I watched the last 2 minutes after that. Gab.
Wala ko, yung mas addict ako kay Sammy. Kahit na sobrang wala nang kwenta
Snooze
manood ng
fest.
second half. Snooze fest na yung second half. I still, kind of watched it. I was doing some fantasy basketball on my phone, but I still had it on, just to see what happened. But yeah, this game actually started out pretty competitive.
Yep.
I like the fight in Adamson. I thought na parang they might have a chance in this.
Yeah.
The wrong signs for me for Adamson was that they were hitting tough shots. Majority of which were contested. They were hitting them, but how long is that sustainable? And I think Tyler Teo on the broadcast pointed it out. Na every Adamson possession, they're being forced to shots at the end of the shot clock. And I've contested shots at the end of the shot clock. Now, they were making them at the start, but this Adamson team has not been proven to be a spectacular offensive team. They have droughts. They've had scoring droughts. Just watched their game against UP in the first round. They played well, started off hot, then couldn't score again in the next 2.5 quarters. So I was wondering if they could keep this up, and the answer was eventually no. I thought LaSalle's defense was incredible. They had a specific game plan, and that was to pressure the perimeter on Adamson. Adamson likes to shoot threes, and LaSalle said, "We're gonna make you work for those threes." They pressured, they blitzed, they trapped, they tried as much as possible to make Adamson score in the paint, which shows in the stat sheet. Cedric Manzano was their leading scorer. OJ Ojarikre had 4 attempts at the basket, which is more than what he does on a regular basis. Had how many free throws did he have? Four free throw attempts, missed 3 of them. You could see it. They were really trying to funnel it into the paint, diba? And just not enough offense for Adamson on this one. On LaSalle's side, very polarizing sa amin itong LaSalle kasi nakita natin sila in their last game against UST. Have 26 turnovers, but up big, suddenly became so sloppy, allowed UST to get back into this game and almost lost it if not for a missed free throw by Forsky Padrigao. And now they come back into this game and they look so good. Their offense looks so sharp. They were moving it around. Adamson's defense was essentially the opposite of what LaSalle was doing. LaSalle was pressuring the perimeter. Adamson was pressuring the paint. They were packing the paint and allowing LaSalle to get those 3-point shots. And I think that was the gamble that Coach Nash took in this game. We're going to shut off the paint. We're not going to let Mike Phillips get his dunks, get his layups. We're not going to let KQ get easy baskets. We're going to essentially try to match you shooting by shooting. Diba? We're going to shoot 3-pointers. Let's hope you shoot better than us. And LaSalle responded, and they shot better than Adamson because the shooting is contagious talaga for Lasal. Once one player uh, gets his shot to fall, the others start making shots. VJ David had three threes in the first half,
Yep.
scored 11 points.
I think he started that run for LaSalle when
Yeah,
they started to break away, diba?
yeah, and then si EJ Goliena started hitting a three. Um, uh, EJ Abadam, sorry, EJ Goliena hit a three. Um, and from that point on, I think it was 20-25. It was a manageable lead. Then suddenly the lead ballooned to like
20?
41,
Oh, parang
41 to 20 in a
something like that.
span of 3 to 4 minutes.
To end the first
Eh,
half. That was
to end
crazy.
the first half, exactly. And after that, wala na. Sabi mo, 20 points. I think Adamson scored 22 points at half. So 41 to 22. Then see, they ended up with 45, so they only scored 23 the rest of the way.
Yep.
That was at the half of the second quarter. So for 2.5 quarters, they could only score 23 points. I think that tells a story of how much Adamson really struggles on the defensive end. And yun nga eh, their guards, their shooters could not handle the pressure from the LaSalle defense. LaSalle was closing out on their shooters very well, or if Adamson was taking threes, most of them were contested. Cedric Manzano tried his best in the third quarter to keep them in it. He was just grinding and grinding, trying as much as possible to keep Adamson in close distance, maybe to spark a run. Very similar to in the first game, Sam, as you said.
Yeah.
Same thing happened
He
in the
top
second
scored
half.
nung first
He
game
top
then.
scored. He tried to get them back in this game, tried as much as possible to get paint points. But I think that was exactly what LaSalle wanted. Sige, you can have your 10 to 15 points, Cedric Manzano, but the rest of your teammates, we're not gonna get them good looks at the basket. That's not how you're gonna beat us. Try to beat us by yourself, Cedric. Because we all know si OJ is not much of an offensive player. Barasi that does not score much. It's just basically Cedric Manzano. Had a little help from AJ Franzman in the first half, but kulang talaga ng offense ang Adamson in this game. Uh, and then this game was so boring already in the second half. Napapansin ko na yung mga extracurriculars that were happening uh, in the game.
Extracurriculars. Like what? Like what?
Yeah,
Hindi ko na panood
yeah.
yung second half. Hindi ko alam tong extracurriculars na to.
One of note to me was Isaiah Phillips finally getting his first minutes
Oh, I
in
saw that.
the
I saw that. Yeah.
first minutes in
Hit
the
a three.
UAAP. Hit a three, and the bench went freaking crazy.
If you look at the box
Oh.
score, he scored more points than his brother Mike Phillips. Can you believe that? Isaiah had three, Mike only had two. So kudos to Isaiah Phillips.
Yeah, and that's actually a good point, Sam, that Mike Phillips only had two because of the defenses that Adamson was
Yeah.
playing,
Sabi ko
packed
nga.
the paint in the first half. In the second half, they went mostly zone.
He didn't get his usual rebounds then, yung volume of rebounds si Mike.
Yeah, and in the second half, Adamson tried a zone, tried to slow them down because LaSalle has struggled with zones. As in their previous game against UST, as in their game against UP, they struggled with zone defenses. And Adamson tried that. They could not. They stopped them. They slowed them down for a while, but again, they couldn't generate enough offense for them to come back. As I said, LaSalle just moving the ball around. KQ not keeping the ball all to himself, just in the flow of the offense. I think he had 12 points in this game, all in the flow of the offense. That is
17 points.
sorry, 17 points in this game, but it didn't. I didn't even notice his 17 points because all of his other teammates were contributing. That's LaSalle at its best. As I said multiple times already this season, you saw me say it against UP. When the others are on point, when the others are contributing, when the others like Goliena, Austria, Makalalag, David, Ramiro, when they're all hitting shots and running the offense and moving the ball. They look like a really good team, perhaps the best team in the UAAP. But as I said, I was noticing the extracurricular, Sam. One of the funniest moments in this game was when CJ
Meron
Austria
pa.
in the second quarter. Oh, CJ
Okay.
Austria in the second quarter hit a pull-up three, and Tyler Teo calling CJ Austria his bestie. Oh, that's my bestie.
Ay, yung ano, di ba nag-rumble sila nung preseason? Hindi ba yun?
Oh,
Sila yun, di ba?
oh, Tyler Teo hit CJ Austria in the Kadayawan tournament. Diba? And they had a scuffle. I think both of them got texts. They were trash talking each other. Nagmumurahan sila. so for the, so for Tyler Teo to call CJ Austria
Sabi niya
his bestie,
bestie.
well,
Hindi ko narinig
that's
yun.
my bestie. Like, oh, that's funny. uh, what else did I notice in this game? KQ celebrations for his teammates. I think that was
Mhm.
pretty noteworthy for me. He had one to end the first half. CJ Austria got a fast break, end one, and KQ went crazy, went flying into the baseline and shouting. Was so happy for CJ Austria. When Ethan Alian broke Flavor Dignadich's ankles in the fourth quarter, Sam, KQ from the bench was like, so happy for his teammates, you getting the minutes, man. So I think the vibes are just immaculate in LaSalle right now. They're on top of the league. Everyone's contributing. Uh, you see guys like Konov hitting a three, Isaiah Phillips hitting a three. It's all good vibes, and that's essentially what's been missing for me from LaSalle ever since Ben Phillips left. Because Ben Phillips was that vibes guy on the on this team, diba si Kuya
And
Ben?
Guliena, to be fair. Si EJ tsaka si Ben yung
Yeah,
laging magkasama. Yeah.
yeah. Yung si Goliana does it now mostly, but si Ben is the ultimate guy, vibes
The
guy. You know,
OG.
the OG vibes guy on this team, and I have not seen LaSalle this happy yet this season. Well, they mostly lost a lot of leads, diba? In some of their games and been in close games. But the vibes are back, and I hope that continues because I think that's the identity that they have to settle into. Yung that happy f- for each other, playing for each other, cheering for each other from the bench, no matter if you're a rotational guy or if you're the MVP like Kevin Kiambao. So yeah, that was it. Austin Ronzone might have gotten his first 2 points, but he missed both of his free throws.
He missed the
Very
free throws. Yun yung sa, ano no, dulo. I was so frustrated there.
he
Parang,
could have
let's
gotten his first points of the
go! Come
UAAP.
on!
Very ugly shooting form for that guy, but wala. Mahirap. Adamson is now on a 3-game losing streak. They're now in a 3-way tie for fifth, along with Ateneo and FEU. We'll talk about Ateneo later, but those were my observations. By the way, Tyler Teo is a pretty good analyst. Uh,
Yeah.
he's
Very
starting to
smart.
grow on me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very smart. Really calls out the coverages, calls out the plays that he thinks the teams are running, calls out the strategies that each coach is trying to put into the game. I like him. Him, Jet Manuel, Diego Dario, Isaac Gold. They're one of my favorite. They're some of my favorite uh, player analysts that they've gotten in the past few seasons. I do hope we see him for more games. He's really good.
Parang savior lahat nung, ano mo, favorites mo, Gab.
Oh, hindi si Diego Dario hindi ah. Ang ano
Iba pala siya.
Si Jet Manuel
Si Jet.
si Isaac
Si Isaac, diba?
Isaac ko saka si ano si Tyler Teo. Well, Jesuit education pare. Jesuit
Yo.
education. Yung kaya ako
Naitawid.
naka-yellow. Yung kaya ako naka-yellow. Yeah, but I was pretty impressed with Tyler Teo and the banter he had with Miko Halili. Again,
Tito Miko
we've
is a classic, obviously.
yeah, yung Tito Miko is a classic commentator. I have not watched games on TV or on Filipinos Live often this season because I want to watch live, and
Mm-hmm.
of course we've gotten the UAP media pass, so we have now the privilege to actually watch and cover the games live. But
Mhm.
Seeing guys like Miko Halili and Tyler Teo have that how should I say chemistry and the beauty in which they call a game, even if it was a blowout, it's a pretty good watch. It's a pretty good watch. Sami.
Uh, Not much to add. Siguro one thing that I will say is natuto na ata si Coach Topex, nakikinig siya sa Boleros kasi he did not field in the bench guys immediately in the first half. He fielded them
Fourth
in
quarter
the
na.
second half, 'di ba? So natuto na si Coach Topex. Other things worth mentioning, ano pa ba? Ay, alam mo si Agonane, I think some Lasal listeners medyo shaky pa rin with Agonane, but some are saying na he's improved. What I noticed lang with Agonane is he needs to, yung first possession niya lagi, it's always going to be a turnover. Parang may ano pa siya, may halong kaba pa sa
He had
umpisa.
two straight turnovers to start this game,
'Di
but two
ba?
straight buckets after.
After, yes, yes, yes. The same thing happened against UST, if I'm not mistaken. The first possession, it was a turnover with Henry Agana. I think he just needs to get that turnover and then medyo eventually he'll get his confidence. Something I noticed lang out of the games. One of our listeners who was covering the game yesterday for the Lasallian mentioned it was Doy Dungo's birthday, I think. So, and Doy Dungo was a UST high school graduate. So I was hoping for a Doy Dungo breakout game, but we didn't get that. I
Ako
know
rin
he only
eh.
scored 3 points. I was waiting for that. So sayang lang. Some
Akala ko yung,
storylines.
Sam, yung naka-first three siya, yung from the corner, when it rolled in, sabi niya, oh, he knows the rims in this game.
Ito
Sabi,
na,
ito
diba?
na, ito na, gonna catch fire. Just like he did with Adamson in the first round, di ba? He
In
hit
the
5 threes in first
Right,
round
that was
against
the Adamson
Adamson.
game. Tama ka,
Oh.
tama
And,
ka.
and I thought, now, it's set up for Doy Dumo. It's his birthday. It's against Adamson again. It's back in his old stomping grounds.
Yeah,
I'm looking for a Doy Dumo explosion, but sayang, hindi
would
natin
have been the
nakuha.
perfect story. So yon, I think on the Lasal end, that's it. Sorry. By the way, Lasal clinched a Final Four berth with this win. So the first team to get there, syempre they're targeting to seal the top two spots, which is probably a high chance that they'll seal the top two. But first team to clinch the Final Four, that's something worth mentioning. For Adamson, Adamson is a very solid team. They have a bunch of solid players. Pero ito yung problema eh. Parang si Coach Nash kasi also likes players that work within the system. So, sometimes when the shots aren't falling, parang gusto ko may mag-take over na lang eh. To be fair kay Cedric Manzano, he tried to do that. I just think he needs help. And I really want... I feel like Matthew Montebon should be that other guy. I know ikaw... sino yung gusto mong isa pang
Si
takeover player na...
Erolon,
Erolon.
the
Si
other
Matty
Matt.
Erolon. The other Matt. The two Matts, actually. Yeah, the two Matts can take over. I think that's what they need to do sometimes then. But
He
if you
started
look at
off
this
well
team,
nga
they've...
eh. He hit a
Yeah.
three, you
Yeah,
hit a
si
mid-range
Erolon.
two,
Yeah.
and then
Yun na yun. I think he only
yun na
scored...
yun.
Oh,
Yun na
tama. He
yun.
only scored 5 points. Yeah.
Those were his
So,
5 points. And I'm like,
5 points, yeah.
where were you the rest of the game?
So, yun, that's what I noticed from Adamson. I think they need someone to take over sometimes na hindi lang puro si Cedric Manzano din. Something to note, siguro before we move to the Ateneo game, Adamson's next game is going to be Ateneo. So that's going to be crucial. They're both tied. Ateneo coming off
Battle of the Birds.
Battle of the Birds. Ateneo coming off a 2-game winning streak. Adamson has been losing. Big game. That's happening this Wednesday. That's the next game. So something to watch out for this Wednesday. Okay, speaking of Ateneo, let's move on to the more exciting game. The Ateneo versus UST game. Home court advantage went to UST pero Ateneo stole this one. Ano yung mga nakita mo dun sa game na yun, Gab?
Uh, a very entertaining game of basketball. Both teams, I thought, played excellent defense in this game. And also, Sammy, we were there to watch this game live at the
Mhm.
UST Quadricentennial Pavilion, I think it's the right name of the gym. Uh, Immaculate vibes. It was loud. The
It was
student
loud.
body came to support their Growling Tigers, even during the women's game. So
Mm.
shout out to UST, man, for supporting their team and for getting that big game vibes in a very small gymnasium. But yeah, this is
Sorry, speaking of the vibes, medyo bumps ako nung mandang end of the fourth quarter. Remember when there was a bad call? Yung si Porter fouled, I think, one of their bigs. And then
si
may
Jello
si
Crisostomo, and
Crisostomo.
then
And then one of the refs, I think, misinterpreted it. So he called a foul on UST. Parang foul on Crisostomo. Coach Pido was livid. He was going crazy. And, I think the entire gym, 75% of the gym were UST students, diba? UST fans. Marinig mo, the entire gym just started chanting, Luto! 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 Parang, wow, ang saya nito. I was getting
the
goosebumps.
vibes,
The
diba?
vibe was, it was vibing. It was vibing. But
It was
fortunately, na-correct naman ng other referee, no? It was really a foul on Porter. Natawa lang talaga ako dun sa moment na yon. It's very rare for you to get like a home court advantage and like your team in the UAAP, tapos your team is playing, diba? I know they played in the UST gym before. I'm not sure if UST played also.
last season.
But did
Last season,
UST play?
no, UC did not
Hindi,
play.
hindi, diba? So this is the first time that UST played in the UST gym in a while. Um Interesting din siya. I think
I
it
like it.
was I liked it.
I
I
like
enjoyed it.
it.
Kahit na tayo yung I mean Ateneo was the visitors, 'di ba? Pero I enjoyed it. Iba din yung vibe, iba.
Ako rin. It reminded me, Sam, of the games we used to watch as kids in the Blue Eagle gym. Diba? That vibe. Although, walang aircon
Right.
sa Blue Eagle.
Pero
Kaya
grabe
mainit.
init doon, daming nagka-cramps
Oo.
doon gabi.
Oo. Dadami nagka-cramps doon. Ito, may aircon. So,
May aircon dito.
gu- buti
Gininaw
lang may
ako.
budget. Sana naman yung newly renovated Blue Eagle gym may aircon naman. Diba? Ateneo. Ang taas-taas ng tuition nyo, baka pwede yung gawing aircon ng Blue Eagle gym. Anyway, to address that, just to point that out, some alumni were pointing out na bakit ganito yung schedule ng UST, bakit may home court advantage ang UST, bakit tayo maglalaro doon. And I just want to point out, for years, the UAAP has been holding games at the Blue Eagle Gym. We've had Ateneo has had home court advantage for many seasons in the 2000s, in the late 2000s. So, shut up with that. I mean, it's okay. I like it. There's students who can access the games. Who doesn't love that, diba? Nearer home and away, I think they should have more of these. Sabi nga ni Sam, it was vibing, it was giving. Is that how the kids say it these days? It's giving.
Pwede. I think si Coach Tabden wasn't that happy actually. Sa press con sa post game nila, he was he was passive aggressive saying na I wonder how this happened. It's after such a long time, it's the first time that the UAAP had a home court advantage, which was strange to me. Something to that effect. So I think even Coach Tab wasn't as pleased as us fans.
Yeah, but I get it. I totally get it. Bakit yung Ateneo yung natapat sa UST game, sa UST gym. But again, we've had Ateneo games at the Blue Eagle gym. We've had home court advantage in many seasons already. So, stop it.
Pagka-dismissal, diretso ka na dun eh.
Diba? Mag-cut nga kami ni Maui ng class eh.
Ay, hindi naman ako nagkakat.
Ikaw, hindi. Mabait ka eh. Yung kami ni Maui, mag-cut kami. Anyway, back to this game. It was a game of runs, actually, Sam. First quarter, Ateneo started out strong.
I think hot. Yeah. 7-0 or something?
7-0, 15-4 to start this game. It wasn't until a broken play that led to a Forsky Padrigao elbow free throw line shot that USC got its first bucket. But Ateneo started out well. I thought I was expecting a good Jared Bahi game. He had a first possession. He had a pull-up
He
two.
started out well.
He had a pull-up long two. Then Chris Kuhn hit a three. Yung got a short stab at the rim, a close range basket. Drew Bongo started out hot
Back to back threes.
with back-to-back corner triples. So it was good. I think it was 17-4. Then, and this is where we gotta tip our hats to the UST bench. We called out the UST bench, and I think a lot of people have called out the UST bench that they're the lowest scoring bench in the league. But the UST bench got them back in this game. 6 points from Echo Laure. Tip my hat
Echo
to you,
Laure.
big boy
Echo
Echo
Laure.
Laure.
Big boy.
We've criticized him in the past, and he contributed to this run to get them back in this game.
Solid
6
minutes.
points, solid minutes from Echo Laure in the second quarter. Lilan Destasio got 5 quick points off the bench, plus a good pass to Echo Laure on the break. Cal Paranada scored 4 points. Those were the guys who got them back in this game. So kudos to UST's bench, man. But a good response right after that. So UST made it run. I think they took the lead on a Fortsky Padrigao left-handed layup to take it 21-20. Then good job by Ateneo to fight back and not be flustered by that lead. But there are a lot of times this season, Sam, where Ateneo goes on droughts, they lose the lead, and then they just fold. But not in this game. I think that Fortsky Padrigao layup was answered by an Ian Espinosa 3. We'll get to him later. And then it just continued from there. The bench guys now from Ateneo did their damage. And this is where I want to shout out some guys we've criticized a lot in the past. And I think a lot of Ateneans and Ateneo fans have criticized before. Ian Espinosa, what a game from you,
What
sir.
a game. What a game by Espinosa.
I give you all the hats I can tip because I tip my hat to you. I don't usually wear hats but a cap, but I will tip all my hats to you, man. That was a masterpiece of a game from you. To all of the haters of Ian, the guys who criticize him nonstop, I hope you appreciate what he does. It wasn't just that he hit shots. Diba? He got the player of the game.
Niya.
His defense was incredible. Second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, he was a plus 17. A plus 17 in this game. Diba? In a game where Jared Bahay was saddled with foul trouble, he was a plus 17. He hit 2 threes, one I think from in the fourth quarter, but he was stepping, so he wasn't a three. Hit a layup over Paranada. Those were the flashy parts of his game that people notice because it's a scoring part, but people don't really notice the intangibles that he does on the court. He's a good point of attack defender, just a pest on defense. Grabbing 6 rebounds at 5'8" or 5'7", however tall he is. How?
That's crazy.
How? Skying for those rebounds, diba? Big time game from Ian Espinosa. Yes, he missed the free throw and it could have ended badly in the end. But saka na yun, I will praise you, Ian Espinosa. You answered your critics in this game. People don't usually recognize the things you do on the floor because they don't show up on the stat sheet. Yes, they notice your missed shots. They notice your turnovers. They notice at times when you dribble too much because there are no other options on the offense. But they don't notice the defense that you provide at the point of attack, or the defense that you provide for other ball handlers on the opposing team.
Yung intensity
incredible.
din niya, you know. He
The
always
intensity
brings that intensity.
And that's what Coach Tab said in the end game. Diba? I love Sean Quiteves and Ian Espinosa because they play with heart. Yes, sometimes I want them to play with their head more. That's what Coach Tab.
His words, not ours.
his words, but he appreciates that they play with all out heart and effort and intensity. So shout out to you, Ian Espinosa, for keeping Ateneo in this game. The other guy who answered UST's runs and was pretty crucial, Ayodeji Balogun. Oh,
Yun! I was waiting for
diba?
that, Gab. Buti naman
Yeah.
na-mention mo siya.
Well, what was he? He was a plus 11 in
Mm-hmm.
this game. Diba? A plus 11. 7 of 9 free throws. Was the
7 of
only guy
9.
consistently hitting his free throws. And he got those free throws out of being active, just plain effort. Diba?
Mm-hmm.
He was jumping for those rebounds, he was getting held, and they were calling fouls. So he was getting sent to the line. Just the activity. He had an N1. I think that was his only basket of the game. Yung had an N1 in the second quarter. Missed the free throw, sadly. But you love it. You love that he's showing up. Yes, there was no Motongkara in this game, and that probably made it easier
Easier
for
for him.
Balogun
Mm-hmm.
to get those shots at the free throw line. Which, by the way, I do want to address this for the Tongkara suspension because I know there are a lot of false narratives going around, Sam, na luto to, biased ang UAAP board, ang UAAP Commissioner's Office, bakit nila sinuspend si Tongkara for this game. Una-una, hindi kasalanan ng UAAP board, ng UAAP or ng Ateneo or ng any other team Tongkara flexed on Mo and on Henry Agonane and then clapped in Mike Phillips' face to get those 2 technical fouls. I think those were all on Mo. I don't think anyone can argue that those were technical fouls. That technical
Even
foul
UST fans were frustrated with those technicals.
Yeah, even UST fans
counting. Sa comments
yung,
natin, di ba?
Yeah, yung in our subscribers, in our comment section, Sam, as you said, UST fans were also frustrated with Mo because why were you doing those things? Diba? They need you in the game and you're just getting fouls on yourself unprovoked. So, yun. And the technical foul for taunting wasn't just made for Mo Tongkara or that game against LaSalle. It's been called on multiple players already this season, even the past season. So it's not just on UST. So hindi niluluto ang UST para sa Ateneo. Also, he was suspended for the ejection. An ejection leading to a suspension has been around for decades in the UAAP. That rule has been in place for decades, not just for this season, not just for that game. Diba? The UAAP is not gonna make an exception for one player after they have suspended multiple players over the years. I remember when we were kids, Enrico Villanueva was suspended, I think, for 2 straight seasons for getting ejected out of the game. I think he was a front runner for MVP in those seasons, and he always gets ejected and gets suspended and gets disqualified for awards. Okay, so let me address that. Hindi luto yon. It's in the rules. Kasalanan ni Mo Tongkara yon. Yun lang. Those were the 2 players I think who kept them in this game. The second half, it was the Nick Caballero and Christian Manaytay show for UST. Nick Caballero, Sam, hindi ko alam kung nanonotice mo na napapanood mo si Nick Caballero live, ang laki niyang tao.
Ang laki niya. Oh.
He's a big dude. Diba? And in the second half, he was getting to the free throw line just by bulldozing over people. He bulldozed over Sean Quiteves. He bulldozed over Drew Bongo, which I thought was an offensive foul.
And Quiteves and Bongo are not tiny, okay?
Quiteves is a strong dude. He's a muscular dude. He bulldozed over Chris Kuhn. And I'm like, what is with this dude? This dude is huge. He's so huge. No wonder they call post-ups for him because he's a walking mismatch. He plays on the perimeter and he's a mismatch for every perimeter player out there. So kudos to Nick, although I think Ateneo did a good job in trying to get Nick to shoot difficult shots. I mean, he had a 31% field goal percentage, 5 of 16 from the field,
Yeah. And
7 of
I think it was averaging like 62% in the second round or something like that coming off the bench before this game. May pinakita silang stat sheet
yeah,
before this game. He was averaging like 20.62% from the field. So
and
he
10
scored
rebounds a game.
18. He scored 18, but those are very difficult 18 points. He wasn't very efficient. He wasn't his usual efficient self. So kudos to the
Although he was
Ateneo
efficient
defense
from the
on
free
that.
throw line, yung 7 out of 7.
Oo nga,
Diba?
tama. Yun yung sinasabi mo parang, ba't lahat ng free throw ni Nick na-shoot ngayon ah? Galing niya.
He like, nag-practice siya the day before, pare. Kasi
Home court.
yung
Home court.
walking distance lang galing sa dorm or galing sa
Sa dorm
classroom
niya.
niya siya
Oo nga.
nag-practice siya.
Tama ka,
Oo.
tama ka.
And the difference for the first half or the second half for UST was Christian Manayta. The guys were now hitting their threes. I think they only hit 1 3 in the first half. And the second half, they started hitting their threes. Forsky hit a 3. Estacio hit 1. Manayta hit 1. Yung Cabanero hit 1. So that opened up the floor for them, allowed them to get into runs. I believe they took the lead another time. Was it 53 to something? But Ateneo answered it again. So signs of hope and maturity for next season for Ateneo. That yes, the opposing teams getting into runs and retaking leads, but they're answering back. They're clawing their way back. I thought the absence of Mo Tungkara was really felt in the second half because Ateneo kept attacking the rim, and there were a lot of botched point blank shots and layups. Jared Bahay, hello to you.
Mm-hmm.
But they survived it. Sean Tuanyo had a ton of attacks at the rim.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he got the ball, he was like, okay,
aggressive.
no shot blocker. I'm taking it inside the paint. So I think Sean ended up with 10 points.
10, yeah.
Chris Kuhn got a
had
couple
10.
of Chris Kuhn got a couple of layups in the paint just because there's no rim protector there. As I said, si Ian hit 1. Jared Bay hit a key, despite the bad game from Jared Bay and his foul trouble. He did hit a key 3 in the fourth quarter and layup in the second half to eventually close his game. But now we have to talk about the last place, or the second to the last place, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
The Sean Quiteves steal on Nick Cabanero.
The steal.
His only field goal of the game.
100%, boy. 100%.
Oh, hindi siya 100% ha. He was 1 out of 4.
Ay, oo nga.
He attempted a couple of shots in the first half. But Sean Quiteves hit his only field goal right at the end game. That was a risky pass by Forsky Padrigao to Nick Cabanero near half court. So Nick had no space to operate. It was near the corner at half court.
Good defense for Ateneo. Good inbound defense then.
Good inbound defense. Coach Tab and the coaching staff, again, I tip my hat to you because they read that play perfectly. They set up their defense perfectly. They denied every single option.
Wala nang option si Forsky.
And they knew UST had no timeouts left. They knew UST had no timeouts left. So they could be aggressive denying the ball. And they did. Forsky was forced to give it to Nick at a risky position because it was almost a 5-second violation. Good job by Sean Quiteves to get his hand in there and get a runaway layup to seal this victory. Although si Parangada yung did get a layup, but eventually si Espinosa sealed it with one free throw to make it a 67-64 win. So what I like from Ateneo, it wasn't the usual suspects, Sam. Last game, it's Bahay and Porter. Or there are times si Josh Lazaro, I think, is the leading scorer for the season. All three of those guys had bad games.
Yeah. Lazaro coming back from his injury ba or something. He was gone sa NU
from
game.
his ankle injury, was scoreless. Chris Porter only scored 3 points, botched a ton of shots at
May
the
isa
basket.
siya in the last few minutes of the fourth. Open.
Open his left-handed shot. Ang lakas masyado. Jared Bahay, despite the good start with that pull-up long two, just could not get it going. But as I said, did hit a couple of key baskets at the end, but was just saddled with foul trouble the whole time. And that it's good that the other guys are contributing. This was the identity of the Ateneo teams from season 80 to 82. You didn't know at times where the offense was gonna come from because in the elimination round, 30 averaged like what 9 to 11 points a game. He wasn't just, he wasn't finals 30 in the second round. The offense came from everywhere. It could have come from Mamuyak, it could come from Belangel, it could come from Tyler Teo. So it's good that Ateneo is not just depending on the Porterhouse connection, but other guys are stepping up. Balogun, Drew Bongo with 14 points,
14
not just
led the
shooting
team.
threes. That's back-to-back games now that Drew Bongo has hit three threes. Sam, he hit three threes against
Ah,
NU. He's hit
NU.
three threes here against UST. I think he's starting to come on. We were seeing the Drew Bongo of the preseason where he was scoring in double digits, was hitting his threes consistently in the preseason. So now we're seeing the other guys step up. Espinosa, Balogun, Tuanyo, Chris Kunas back-to-back double-digit point games. Uh, just being that glue guy. I don't think he's ever gonna be that main star, but as a glue guy, a guy who can defend, rebound, pass the ball, set up the offense. I think you want him there. His defense on Fortsky during the fourth quarter, top notch. Former teammates going at each other. I love it. So yun. This is something to take away for the next season. Obviously, yes, they're still in contention for the Final Four, but I doubt they're gonna make the Final Four. They have not faced UP or LaSalle. Count those as two losses. I think that's a
Mm-hmm.
95% chance, diba, that those are gonna be losses. So I don't think they're gonna make the Final Four, despite still being in contention. A lot of things have to break right for them, especially sa UST. People, teams have to beat UST that are not named UP and LaSalle. So, so yun, a great win for Ateneo, an all-around team win because it wasn't just the starters who won this game. It was the bench guys. So, kudos to you. So, I hope they take that for next season. Know that the offense can come from anywhere, not just from one guy, not just from two guys, but uh, everyone contributing. I love this win from Ateneo. Sammy.
Yeah, you said a lot about Ateneo. I think si Ian Espinosa and si Bologun, I do want to give them my flowers also. Especially, I think both of them, the two guys that you mentioned as your key players from this game, both of them had like parang a play where they parang nag-dive sila for the ball, if I'm not mistaken, both in the second half. Si Balogun went to the Ateneo bench. Si Espinosa also parang tried to get a loose ball. So they were really sacrificing their bodies to get the ball and get this win. And that's what you want to see from players, your players, di ba? Kung ikaw si Coach Tab. So I really love yung intensity and effort. Hopefully this helps build Balogun's confidence. He did have some silly plays or maybe not so smart plays pa rin, but I think that's fine. You'll take that. I still can't believe he shot 7 out of 9 from the free throw line. I think before this game he was roughly 50% from the free throw line, or um at least nung first half of the season, I think. So you him shooting almost 80% from the free throw line is very good for you. You'll
You
take
know,
that
when you
from
watch him, he has a very
maganda
decent
form niya eh.
stroke.
Maganda form
Magandang
niya.
shooting
Totoo.
form niya. So,
Totoo.
that's something that can be developed.
Yeah. So, uh, yun yung for Ateneo for me. Femi Edu, obviously, very unfortunate that he got injured. He just
Oh,
got
that
into
looked
the
bad.
game. It
That
looked
looked
bad, diba? He
bad.
couldn't even
I don't
step on
like
his foot.
seeing twisted ankles.
Yep. Yep. So
Oh,
that looked bad. Hopefully he'll recover from that. For the UST side naman, na-mention mo the second half when UST made that run. It was the Nick Caballero and Christian Manaytay show. I think what UST could have won this game. Obviously, it was a very close game, but I think one of the reasons why they struggled also was because Christian Maynaytay got 3 fouls first quarter pa lang. And I'm like, dude, first of all, bakit binalik ni ni Coach Pido si Maynaytay after the 2 fouls with a few minutes left in the first quarter? And then he immediately got his third foul. That's on Coach Pido. But si Maynaytay naman parang what are you doing? They need you in this game. They don't have Tongkara. So, onti lang yung playable, serviceable big men nila. They need you. Kudos to Maynaytay though. He ended up with only 3 fouls. So, he didn't foul the game. And he took over. He started getting hot. I was really
Grabe yung
expecting...
footwork niya, Sam. Ang
Ah,
ganda talaga ng footwork ni Christian Manaytay.
alam
Nakita
mo
mo
na
yung
eh,
mga,
no?
yung mga step through niya in between the double, layup, jab step, drive right, spin move
May
back to the
spin
left.
move pa eh. Oo, grabe yon. Alam mo na eh.
Grabe na.
Oh my
Ang
God, this is
galing.
it. He's going to score. He's going to score. Kahit malalaki eh. Even in the Lasal game, di ba? I mean, Ateneo is a lot smaller than Lasal, but even in the Lasal game, he was scoring over bigger guys. That's what's so impressive about this guy. I really love
That's
this
what
guy.
good footwork does. You can score
Yeah.
over bigger guys if you have good footwork.
Yeah, I love this guy. I think he should have played more kung hindi lang siya nag-foul. Uh, we did get a lot of questions from our subscribers in the previous episode. What are the chances of UST winning kahit pag wala na si Tongkara? They could have won this easily. They're that good, they're that deep, they're that talented. Well coached then. I think they played well defensively. I think yun yung mga small things lang. Manaytay getting into foul trouble. Nick Cabanyero, yun nga, we mentioned, he did score 18 points, but that was a struggle for him. He had a couple of good 3-point shots then. Good looks, I mean. But he shot 1 of 6. So, inalat lang din from 3 points, pero he shot 7 of 7 from the free throw line. So, pantay-pantay lang din. Other things here, si Jello Crisostomo, I've been hard on him. Sinasabi ko na he hasn't stepped up since the first Ateneo game. To be fair, he did not score much, only scored 5 points but grabbed 16 rebounds. So, even without Tongkara, the UST out-rebounded Ateneo. Isipin mo na lang din yun. Wala na nga yung best big man nyo, and then UST still out-rebounded Ateneo. That's how small Ateneo is. But kudos to Ateneo for getting that win. We talked about the electric crowd. That was really fun. Eco Laure, kudos kay Eco Laure. I love the effort. Marami din siyang mga hustle rebounds from that game. What else? Fortski. I do want to talk about that flagrant of Jared Bayo on Fortski. Fortski was visibly frustrated. Sumisigaw siya eh. We were there. We were watching him. Napikon din si Fortski sa game na yun. So, I don't know if that's a good thing na ginagalit mo si Fortski because sometimes he can take over games. So, I would be careful about that. Fortunately, dito, he wasn't that hot in this game.
Kudos to the defense of Chris Kuhn.
Defensive Chris Kuhn and
Coach Tab
Espinosa.
loves-
Espinosa guarded Fortski a lot of times. The teammates, the former teammates. Estacio. I think you mentioned Estacio. I think he was really solid in this game. I think it was Asido who came in early, but he made like bad plays, and then hindi na siya binalik ni Coach Pido. Parang naalala ko pinapagalitan siya ni Coach Pido. I forget what play that was. And then Estacio played the rest of the game.
He pulled up. They were slowing it down, then he pulled up from 3 right as he crossed half court. So
Yeah. I think that was it. But and then hindi na siya
that
binalik.
was it.
I was expecting Asido to get good minutes here. Something to note also for Ateneo. I mentioned they're going up against Adamson sa Wednesday. So that's going to be a very big game. They're tied with Adamson right now. Adamson wants to bounce back. And then after that game, quick turnaround on Saturday, I think it's the Ateneo Lasal game already. So
Actually, Sam, that was my next comment. That was one of my observations. The UAAP has medyo ang sama ng scheduling nila para sa UST. UST has played on 3 straight game days. They played on Sunday against UP. They played on Wednesday against Lasal. Now they're playing on Saturday against Ateneo.
Oo nga,
Three
no?
straight game days.
Right.
Talagang binigay nila UP and UE have not played for in a week.
Yeah. Well, obviously, na-cancel yun today, di ba? Yung
Nakasin yun today,
sa
but
20.
UE, I don't. When was the last time UE played? When was the last time they actually played? So medyo yung scheduling, I think played a factor in this game for UST. I mean, this was their 3rd straight game day. Ateneo will go through it, although it's not. It's coming from a Saturday, yung not a Sunday. But yeah, the scheduling is pretty weird. 3 straight days UST naglalaro. UP Lasal pa yung first 2. Diba?
Yeah, for UST, nga, mahirap 'yun. So, for Ateneo, it's going to be a tough next 2 game days kasi mabilis lang. Adamson on Wednesday and then Lasal on Saturday. So, I think that you mentioned it. Lasal is medyo 95% scheduled loss. I think that makes that Wednesday game even more crucial. If Ateneo has any chance of making it to the Final Four, they have to show up and be consistent. This Wednesday, get their 3rd straight win against Adamson to sort of create separation between them and Adamson kasi that will hand Adamson another loss. Anything else that you wanna point out before we end this episode?
Yeah, just a couple. We talked about the games at the UST Quadricentennial Pavilion. Since we're gonna have more games there, sana umabot to sa UST. Kung hindi, okay lang. But I do want to give some points for improvement for the UST Pavilion. One, why is there no game clock that the players can look at?
You called that out. You pointed that
Yeah,
out.
because so if you see the setup, Sam, there was a shot clock on top of the
Sa gitna, di ba?
backboard. There was a shot clock on top of the backboard with a game clock,
With
but
a
it
game
wasn't
clock.
working.
Hindi
But it wasn't
gumagana.
working. So they put a shot clock on the ring post underneath the
Sa
basket.
ilalim, yeah.
But there's no game clock.
Mm-hmm.
Even during the women's games, the players did not know how much time was left on the game clock. And I think the bench was just shouting you how much time is left because
Nagka-countdown.
they're the only ones who can see it on top. So to the management of the UST Quadricentennial
Parang
Pavilion,
intrams lang no?
just put a game clock. I think that's pretty important. Especially, imagine mo kung last second shot yung hinaharap ng mga teams just wala silang alam na game clock. Tatansayin na lang nila kung gaano katagal na. I mean, diba? So that's a big thing. I think you have to have a game clock there. So that's one. The second, if you're gonna have games at lunchtime, please have some food available inside the arena. Or people were hungry during this game.
Maraming food stalls, pero malayo. Malayo. Ang layo pa ng pupuntahan mo.
Maraming establishments and restaurants outside. So, nung una, they weren't allowing food inside. There were signs, no food and drinks allowed. Mm-hmm. But they were not selling food and drinks inside the pavilion. And it was lunchtime. People were hungry. And eventually, I think they sort of noticed that people were getting hungry and thirsty. So they eventually allowed people to bring in food and drinks. I personally brought in some food. I mean, I was hungry as hell. So, yun, a point for improvement. Maybe you can put some stalls in there. Just some concessionaires to sell some stuff, sell some food because it's lunchtime. Come on, that's pretty unreasonable. They're gonna stay there for around 2 hours to watch a game. You need some food and drinks. So, yun. The other thing is people slip a lot in the UST pavilion on the court. And I think we had the same observation last season, Sam. I do recall this. And I looked back at our old episode.
Mm,
We had the same observation.
really?
Players slip a lot in this court. And when I was here watching from the UST Ateneo women's games, the UST Ateneo men's game, and even the LaSalle Adamson games, a lot of people are slipping in these games. So I'm not sure if that's a humidity problem or hindi maganda yung mop or something, or the court is just really slippery. But that's pretty dangerous. So I do hope
Yeah.
they find a solution for that. So this is not the first time we've observed that a lot of players are slipping on this court. So those are some observations from our first game day at the UST Pavilion. Sam, go ahead.
Okay. So that's it for today's episode. We will talk about our Gatorade Ballers of the Week in our next episode. And we will finally, I think, pwede ko na ba i-announce kasi hindi pa tayo sure, baka jet lag pa siya. But I think we will finally have Mr. Maui Yap back in the next episode. So stay tuned for that. He will be back with all our pasalubs. Hingin nyo na lang kay
Maui!
Maui yung pasalubs nyo.
2-0 na Ateneo. 5 games left. Magpapakalbo ka na, boy.
Magpapakalbo ka na, Maui. Check out our Instagram kasi doon nakapost yung promise ni Maui na magpakalbo. It's at Boleros PH. If you haven't yet, please like this video, subscribe to our YouTube page, comment down below your thoughts from the games over the weekend. Wala tayong Sunday games, so we only had 2 games to cover. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye. See you.